You just heard What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum on MavRadio.fm with your host, Ben Addison. That's me, and I'll be hosting for the next 2 hours as I talk about the top 25 matches, including a Big Ten matchup with number 16 versus number 7 Penn State. I'll also talk about this week's NFL matches, go a little over the Thursday night games, some Sunday games, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night game, all coming up, and much more. So stay tuned for your lunch rush with Ben Addison. But first, here's a quick check at today's weather. Right now we're sitting at about 59 degrees outside. It's partly cloudy and windy. The wind will continue pretty much throughout all of today. We have a wind advisory for today. But on the bright side of things, even though it is windy, it's not very humid. And we're going to climb up to about 75 today, supposedly. So that'll be nice. And then we'll get a low of 46 overnight with a very, very, very small chance for rain. But nevertheless, next up, we have Loco Contigo by DJ Snake on KVNO HD2 Omaha. And that was Stuck in a Dream by Little Mozzie, I believe is how you pronounce his name, on KVNO HD2 Omaha. And I'm Ben Addison, your host. And I'll have plenty of talk about today, but to start today's conversation, we'll be talking about the top 25 matches going on in college football land. To start off, we have number 12 Oregon visiting number 25 Washington. This is a very interesting game. It'll be curious to see if Washington really has regained form or if they're going to probably drop back out of the top 25 out of this match. But overall, personally, I do favor Oregon here. First off, being number 12. Second off, probably being one of the best Pac-12 teams in the league right now. I just kind of favor Oregon in this fight, but I could see Washington somehow pulling this out just because they're at home, and Washington used to be actually really, really good, kind of towards the same area where Oregon is right now. So who knows? Could go either way. So then next up, we got number 17 Arizona State versus number 13 Utah. This is a very close game and kind of hard to call. I put a slight favor to Utah since they're at home, and their losses aren't as bad as Arizona's. Arizona State, because they were away rather than home, and they were still pretty close games, if I remember correctly. So I think overall in this situation, I favor Utah, but I could still see a world where Arizona State easily wins this game. Kind of the same theme again with number 16 Michigan versus number 7 Penn State. A big Big Ten, I believe, matchup going on here. We got Penn State at home. I think just the fact that they're at home, Michigan looks a little less consistent this year. There's been still that kind of weary, is this really, a Michigan team like they were maybe even last year? So far, they haven't shown it. So far, Penn State has shown they've continued to improve. So just kind of trying to follow those two trends. I really think that Penn State is going to come into this with their heads up, bunch of confidence, really thinking that they can win this game. They're going to come in with the game plan, and they're probably going to knock it out pretty easily. So I really do favor Penn State there. But up next, we have The London feat. J. Cole and Travis Scott by Young Thug on MavRadio.fm. All right, and you just heard Woman by Kesha on MavRadio.fm. And having a look at this week's college football games that are outside the top 25, mainly around town, or around the state, I should say. First off, we got Purdue traveling to number 23, Iowa. This one definitely favors Iowa at home. Purdue is kind of struggling this year. Lost against some teams that normally you wouldn't expect them to, so I expect Iowa to come home with this one overall pretty easily. Then we have a pretty hard one here, which is Iowa State at Texas Tech. Also, I would like to apologize. Weeks before this, I've done pretty much every college team around here. Like I did Iowa, I was doing Nebraska, and all that. But I kept forgetting Iowa State, so I'd like to apologize to any Iowa State fans out there for that. But I'll do my best to make sure to remember them every week from now on. But this week they're going to Texas Tech. I have a question mark here on my favorite of Iowa State because I don't really know. Like, this is two obviously unranked teams, two teams that are a further on the downslide from where they used to be. Texas Tech and Iowa State both being good teams in their own rights. So kind of both on the downside. So it'll be interesting to see who really comes out. Like I said, I still favor Iowa State here, but Texas Tech being at home, I could easily see them just winning that game regardless. But next up, we have Higher Love by Kygo on KVNO 90.7 HD2 Omaha. And that was 1,000 Bad Times by Post Malone on KVNO HD2 Omaha. Looking at this weekend's weather, we got a pretty good weekend coming up here. Not too shabby overall in the weather. Kind of overall, we're sticking in about the mid-60s through most of the weekend. Today, though, we do have a wind advisory until about 6 p.m. today, so just be aware of that. There will be a lot of wind out there if you haven't already walked outside. It is very windy. But we do have a expected high today of 75 degrees. Right now it is 59. Then we have overnight tonight, we have a small 30% chance for some showers with a low of 46 degrees. Then on Saturday, we'll have a nice sunshiny day with a high of 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Then overnight on Saturday night, we're looking at some, just increasing clouds. It might be partially cloudy, essentially at that point. So with a low of 47 on Saturday night. Then on Sunday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a small 30% chance of rain during the day with a high of 65 degrees. Then we have a bit of an increased chance, but only by 10%, so now a 40% chance of showers over Sunday night with a low of 46 degrees. So a bit of a, not nice weekend. Maybe we end with a little bit of rain, but, it shouldn't, not a huge chance and shouldn't really drop anything too major on us. But next up on MavRadio.fm is Bear Never Broke My Heart by Luke Combs. Enjoy. All right, you are listening to MavRadio.fm with me, your host, Ben Addison. And that last song, was Behind Bars by Drake. So we got this Thursday night game that kind of happened yesterday. So anyone that's actually watched the game or pays any attention to the NFL at all, I'm sure you know what happened during this game. Mahomes' injury. Oh, I forgot to even look this up. I don't know if they have an update on this yet. When I learned last night, he had a X-ray, but the problem I don't think was his bone anyway. But he had an X-ray and it looked clear. But today I'm pretty sure they scheduled his MRI. I'm not seeing anything looking at it. It's just kind of pretty much everyone kind of saying, hey, he's injured. This is bad. Fox News even says the Madden curse strikes again. So unfortunate for Mahomes there, but that injury, from my understanding, did look very bad. I was actually in the middle of a class when the news broke that he actually got injured, and pretty much guys behind me who watch football and a lot of other sports were instantly just like, and Mahomes is out for the season. And I do kind of agree. This injury does look very, very bad. It does look very season-ending. It looks like it's going to need probably surgery. Looks like it's, MCL, ACL type territory. Very major injury here. I'm almost certain Mahomes is out, and Casey's chances at the Super Bowl have just gone straight down. Matt Moore stepped in, did pretty good. It was Kansas City versus Denver, at Denver, more specifically. And Kansas City did manage to win 30-6. So, great, you pick up the win today, but you won the battle, lost the war here, because you definitely lost Mahomes for the year. Well, not definitely. I can't say that for sure. There may be a world where he comes back. There may be a world where this injury isn't season-ending, but I feel fairly confident with how everyone's kind of talked about it, with how it is being talked about with the Chiefs and everything else, that this is likely season-ending. So not really good for the Chiefs here, the hometown team, to have Patrick Mahomes go out, especially at such a critical time like this for them. They really were looking like the favorites right next to the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. Oh, and yeah, just because we needed to increase the Patriots' chances to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that just happened, by the way, too. But nevertheless, thanks for joining me during my first hour of the Lunch Rush. We still got a whole nother hour on deck, so stay tuned as we talk about more of this week's NFL games coming up. We'll get some weather and more, all on KVNO HD2 Omaha. Next up, we have Pop Out Feet, Little TJ by Polo G. You heard No Guidance by Chris Brown on KVNO HD2 Omaha. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick look here at this Sunday's games in the NFL. I will go over both the day games and the night game for this one. Start off, we got Ravens versus the Seahawks. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is not all the games going on. I'm only listing literally, two of the day games and the night game. So this is just the games that I have my eyes out on. These are the games that I think are going to make a big impact in the NFL. So, to start, we have the Ravens versus the Seahawks, and it's at the Seahawks. This is hard to call. If the Seahawks are going to be the team to go to the playoffs and seriously contend for the NFC Championship, Super Bowl plus, this is the game that they have to win. If they don't win this game, they're not going to do any of that. They're not going to win an NFC Championship. They probably won't win their division, especially with San Francisco looking as good as they are this year. So, this is a must-win game for the Seahawks. But it's the same way for the Ravens. The Ravens need to win this game in order to prove that they themselves are a team to be reckoned with, especially being on the AFC side of the NFL with the Patriots. They got to really start to make these big claims. And now that the Chiefs just lost Patrick Mahomes, this is a perfect, and I mean a perfect opportunity for the Ravens to make a serious claim at the number 2 spot in the AFC. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can go ahead and do that. Next up, after that, we got the Saints at the Bears. Now, this is a battle of the secondary QBs here. I'm pretty sure Trubisky's out for this game for the Bears, as well as Drew Brees for the Saints. He is still out. He is looking to come back in, I believe, it was said next week or the following, but I'm not too sure. I don't know if the Saints are going to wait till post-bye for Drew Brees to come in. I would personally say they probably should, especially if Drew Brees literally comes the week before the break. It wouldn't make much sense to do that and risk getting him re-injured. Just wait that next week. You still got Teddy Bridgewater. You're still doing fine. You're honestly, if anything, really just giving Teddy Bridgewater a bunch of trade value, and that's huge for the Saints, saying that they have him on a multi-year contract to where they can trade him off. If they have it like that and they don't have him on a 1 year, become a free agent after this year type deal, then his stock is going straight up. Right now, his stock is just going up and up and up with the Saints by literally being a secondary QB, but still stepping in and helping the Saints become currently the second best team in the NFC. My opinion, honestly, actually probably the best. I honestly think that with Drew Brees in the lineup, they could beat the 49ers, even at the Niners, honestly. It would be very interesting to see that game. I still think it would be a close game between those two if Drew Brees was in, but maybe we see it. Maybe we see it in the playoffs. Who knows? But then we have the Sunday night game. It'll be the Eagles versus the Cowboys. This one is kind of hard to call. Both these teams, being in NFC East, both of them are actually, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure both of them are 3-3, and they're both on top, or the Eagles are 4-2, one of the two. But they're 1-2 in the NFC East, and they're 2-3 losses. So it'll be pretty interesting. I want to say I favor the Eagles here, even though it's at the Cowboys, just because Dallas. Well, first off, Eagles have won against teams that Dallas have lost to. I don't remember the very specifics of it, but there are like 2 or 3 teams that the Eagles have beat that the Cowboys lost to. So looking at that, plus the fact that Dallas is currently on an 0-3 slide right now. Like, they went 3-0 to start the season, now they're 0-3, so they're 3-3. So this will be the precipice of whether or not they will continue their season winning or continue their season losing. I want to say personally, I believe that the Eagles can pull this out. But I could also see Dallas winning this. Being at home, Dallas has just that slight favor in that regard, and they're kind of the underdog here, so they should leave everything out on the field, but also should the Eagles, because, I mean, they're trying to win the division still. But then we got the Monday night game. I know I didn't say I was going to cover this, but I'll go ahead and cover it anyway. We got the Patriots at the Jets. This one's pretty easy, honestly, to call. It's the Patriots. Why would I ever go against the Patriots? Dude, they could be traveling to San Francisco, to the Saints, to Seattle, to the Rams. I don't care who they face at home. I still favor the Patriots. There's no way that I can right now logically say that you cannot favor the Patriots in any given matchup. They're still undefeated. They don't even look like they're honestly being challenged. Granted, they're facing some pretty easy teams like the Miami Dolphins, but like it does. Like I said, it really doesn't matter who they face at this point. Like, they're just gonna beat whoever it is. And sure, if they lose one game, 1 or 2, maybe 3 games during the regular season, it's not really gonna honestly even matter. Especially now that the Chiefs lost Patrick Mahomes. Like, possible season-ending injury on Mahomes. The only other person that was honestly, in my mind, standing in the way of the Patriots. Now we have to rely on who? Not the Chiefs. We can't anymore because now they have Matt Moore as their quarterback. So I don't know. And who's going to take over? Are they going to keep Matt Moore, or are they going to get an interim QB? I don't know. I would honestly suggest them getting another QB, even though Matt Moore did do a pretty decent job. I don't think he can keep it up for an entire year. So either way, just I hate how the Patriots just every week, it seems like the Patriots' odds at winning the Super Bowl just increase. It's crazy to me how I always thought from the beginning of this year that they were still the favorites, like hard favorites, because outside of the Chiefs, maybe the Rams, and maybe the Saints, I couldn't really see a team putting up even a fight against the New England Patriots, let alone actually taking a regular season game, let alone even more so onto a playoff game. Like, I don't know where this heads. If the Patriots get home field advantage in the playoffs, it's basically a 99% guarantee that they're at least. It's 100% guarantee they're going to the Super Bowl. It's probably like a 80-90% chance that they win it. Just because they're that good. I can't stand it. It's really annoying. But nevertheless, such is the way of football. But next up on MavRadio.fm, we have Easier by 5 Seconds of Summer. Enjoy. Alright, that last song was Bad Guy by Billie Eilish on MavRadio.fm. I'm your host, Ben Addison, and we have a little over 30 minutes left in this lunch rush, a little 2-hour special that I got going on every week on Friday. But in some hype news, I guess I could say, hype news-ish, Zombieland, the much, much, much delayed sequel, is finally coming out. Thank God. This is going to be such... I have been waiting for this movie since the day they announced that they were finally going to they were going to shoot the sequel, and that it was going to be a thing. I was so ready. I'm still so ready. I want to watch this movie. Zombieland was not one of my favorite, but it was a really good movie. And honestly, I'm so happy we're finally getting a sequel on a movie that I've wanted a sequel on for the first time in forever. Because normally I'm like, okay, there's a movie, here's a concept, cool, great. If it's superhero, I expect there to be sequels. But if it's like a regular movie, I don't necessarily expect that. But Zombieland was so dang good that I wish that there was a second one. And lo and behold, there is, finally. They got plenty of returning cast members like Jesse Eisenberg, and Woody Harrelson coming back. Emma Stone and Abigail Breslin, the sisters from the first movie, are returning as well. So we got the main cast of 4 people. I heard that there are some new characters being introduced into the show. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm not too sure about all of that. But it will be directed by the guy who, Ruben Fleischer? I'm sorry, man, whoever this person is. But he was the director from Venom. Sorry, again, butchered your name. But he's going to reunite with Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the writers from Deadpool. And they're going to go ahead and be joined by the writer from The Expendables, Dave Callaghan. So they're going to go ahead and, with that, like, essentially star-studded, group of people actually working on the movie, both actors, directors, writers, everyone that seems to be involved in this has been involved in, movies similar to it. Venom being kind of like that darker style, but with a good amount of comedy. Deadpool, exactly the same way. I'm sure everyone knows what Deadpool is exactly like. So this should be very, very a very good movie. I expect it to be. I have a lot of high expectations coming into this one. Normally, I don't like to do that, but just seeing this cast, this amount of people on it, I am so ready for this. It is set to premiere on October 18th in the United States, and of course, is R-rated. I don't know why the article at CNN felt the need to say that, but I guess I need to say that because it said that. I really don't know. Anyone should know that a Zombieland movie is going to be rated R. And now we have the guys from Venom and Deadpool and The Expendables all working on it. Oh, man, this is going to be a good movie, and I am so ready. But next up, we have Sunflower feat. Post Malone by Swa Lee on KVNO HD2 Omaha. You just heard Mask Off by Future on KVNO HD2 Omaha. So, you remember that whole, in the spring when we had that bomb cyclone that hit us? And then all that flooding kind of happened, and then, that kind of just figuratively snowballed into a bigger problem of, flooding pretty much all of this year, and now we're, looking at more. But nevertheless, the exact same thing has now happened into the northeast Boston area. Apparently, a bomb cyclone sets record as the strongest October storm to ever hit the Boston area. This is an article by CBS News that I'm reading off of, But apparently there was about all the way up to 90 miles per hour wind. The air pressure in that area dropped really quickly, almost historically quickly. There was a unit of measurement that it was I don't even remember exactly what it was called, but millibars. The measurement was millibars, and apparently that's how you measure the pressure. And it dropped 30 millibars in only 15 hours. That I don't know exactly how to reference that and make it so that you can really understand how that feels. But just imagine if we had a bunch of hot high pressure area, and then just out of nowhere low cold pressure came in, and we just got really cold. So basically kind of what happened in Denver last week, where it got really cold really quickly. It's basically happening in the Northeast, except for it's not getting cold enough to snow. It's just raining, and it's raining a lot, and it's raining from this ocean because obviously, it's right next to the Atlantic Ocean. So there's it's getting hit pretty hard right now. They have quite a few good graphics kind of showing all the expected rainfalls and stuff like that on cbsnews.com. So I would go ahead and recommend you check out that article if you're the least bit interested in that story. But on doc, we have Sanguine Paradise by Lil Uzi Vert on MavRadio.fm. And that was High Hopes by Panic at the Disco on MavRadio.fm. All right, taking a last check at your weather here. This weekend is gonna be a little nice. I'm not gonna lie, gonna be a little nice. Right now, though, it is 66 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so we are climbing to today's high of 70. Well, it was 75. Now I'm saying it's reading as 76. So maybe we go 75, maybe we go 76. Who knows? Weather is hard to predict. But we are under a wind advisory right now until 6 p.m. So know that it is windy out there. If you haven't stepped outside yet, there you go. It is windy. Then tonight, looks like we have a split 20 to 30% chance overnight. It's going to slightly increase. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even get hit at all. But the low for tonight will be 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Then Saturday day, we're looking at a nice sunny day with a high of 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Then Sunday night, we'll get some increasing clouds with a low of 47, which will lead into Sunday's mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers, about, again, another 30% chance during the day, with a high of 68 degrees on Sunday. Then Sunday night, we'll get a low of 46 degrees Fahrenheit with a 40% chance of rain. Then Monday night, that chance of rain continues with a 30% chance for showers on Monday with a high of 56 degrees Fahrenheit. So we got a nice weekend coming up that kind of ends on a possible rainy note, but nothing too major to worry about this weekend. Thanks for joining me, your host, Ben Addison, again this week during your lunch rush on KVNO HD to Omaha. I'm on my way out of the studio, so enjoy your fall break on Monday and Tuesday, all of you UNO students. And I'll go ahead and catch you again next Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will be no Maverick Match Day coming up, guys. There's no Maverick Match Day right after this. I did talk to Owen. He did say they weren't going to do it this week. So if you are expecting that, that is not happening this week. So we'll just have music coming up for the next while. And I'll leave you with Boy With Love, feat. Hazley by BTS. Have a good weekend and a fall break. I'll see y'all next week.